President, dear fellow members, dear guests. What do you think is a nation's message to the world? Any guesses? Ideas? Don't be shy, we're not at school.
Motto.
Motto, yeah, great. And a visual message?
Flag.
National ID.
Flag, yes, quite right. A flag, of course. A flag, a combination of forms and colors that distinguishes this particular country from every other country in the world. A flag has its message telling the rest of the world about nation's history, nation's victories, and core values for every citizen of this country to head for. Today, there are about 200 countries in the world with 200 flags. And of course, each and every flag is unique. But you may saw and noticed that some countries seem to use similar color patterns in their flag or similar design. Sometimes this is just a coincidence, like here, Haiti and Liechtenstein. Two countries have nothing to do but share the same colors of their flag. But more often, there is a flag that used to be a model for other nations to follow. So tonight, I'd like to present a kind of a chart of top 3 most influential flag designs of the world. And we start with number 3, which is United States. Stars and Stripes, the best well-known flag in the world. Stars and Stripes date back to 1777, when the first version of this flag was adopted. Back then, it had only 13 stripes and 13 stars for each one of new states to form a new nation. Then, during the history, 1 star was added for each new state of the nation. And today, there are 50 stars and 13 stripes, like it was in the original flag. Stars and Stripes became an inspiration for the flags of Liberia, Africa, Malaysia, Asia, and a surprise, Cuba. What? Cuba? A socialist country has got a US-based flag? No matter how unbelievable it sounds, it is true. Cuban flag was originally designed in middle 19th century as a part of liberating movement against Spain. 50 years later, when Cuba finally gained independence, the flag was officially adopted. At that time, this flag reflected Cuba's aspirations to become one of the states of the US. And despite the dramatic socialist U-turn in the 20th century, Cuba still keeps its original flag. We proceed to number 2 of our chart, and this is part of national pride, by the way, Russian flag. The most prevalent idea tells us that Russian flag dates back to end of 17th century. Peter the Great returned from Europe, and he was so much inspired and influenced by European countries, especially by the Netherlands, one of the greatest sea powers of that time, that he decided to adopt the Netherlands flag, just slightly changed the order of colors. So the flag of Netherlands was used as a Russian flag for merchants' navy, merchant ships. During 18th and 19th centuries, Russia gained more influence, more power, more authority in world affairs. And that's why its flag, Russia's flag, became an inspiration for many East European countries that looked to Russia as a support in their fight against foreign domination. Later, in middle 19th century, Russia's colors, white, blue and red, became known as pan-Slavic colors. And there are several countries that still use these colors in their flag. These are Croatia, Slovakia, Slovenia, not to mix up these two, Serbia, and Bulgaria. As you see, all of these countries have something from Pan-Slavic colors. And at the same time, they all have some distinctive element to distinguish between these flags. And finally, number one, the most influential flag of the world, an absolute leader of our chart is, any guesses?
Union Jack.
No. Union Jack has no other usages. Ideas? Try to remember some history, revolutions. France, of course, French tricolor, which was first used during the French Revolution of the end of 18th century. Its colors recall the motto of French Revolution, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, that became the motto of liberation movement of all over the world. And French tricolor became the flag of revolutionaries of all over the world. Lots of countries that fought for their independence in 19th and 20th century used this design, which is plain and very well known due to French Revolution. These are 3 vertical stripes equal in width. And these countries were Ireland, Italy, Belgium, Mexico, and Romania. All of them have different colors, which originate from their traditions and customs. But all of them at the same time have the same design as French tricolor. But also some former colonies had derived its design from French tricolor. These are Ivory Coast, Mali, Guinea, Mali, Cameroon, Senegal, and Chad. All of them used Pan-African colors, red, yellow, and green, but they are all based on French tricolor. To sum up, now you know a bit more about different flags that look similar with each other. And it may be useful when you are at a Toastmaster conference, for example, next time, just not to mix flags of Italy and Mexico, not to mix between Slovenia and Slovakia, or between Romania and Chad. I'm not kidding, they're almost alike. Almost. It's not visible here, but blue has different Pantone code. Yeah, slight difference. And what is more, if you would like to learn something new about a country, you can start with a flag. Because a flag has always some history behind. A flag has always some own interpretation for every country. And a flag always has a message to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maxim.